I want to remind you to hit the subscribe button down below and the like button, and I apologize for any background noise you may or may not hear. Anyway, Invoke Dark Magician, I'm going to do this kind of quickly. I've messed up recording this like 3 times because I keep hitting my tripod, so I'm going to do this as quick as possible. It's not that much different than the Pure Dark Magician lesson I did not too long ago. So, besides the Invoked engine, and I did a video covering the Invoked engine, so I'm not going to go super well in depth into it. Might show one combo at the end, but 2 Dark Magician, 1 Red Eyes, play your bricks. You don't have to play the Red Eyes Fusion if you don't want to, but currently I am. If you're not playing, well, if you don't want to play the Red Eyes Fusion, cut Red Eyes for a second Tamias, and then you can just play more hand traps with the ref. That's really your only other options to play there. And then we have 3 Alistair the Invoker, primary normal summon of the deck. Get you into your Mecha, Pseudo Dragoon, hope you get into any of your other invoked fusions. And Invocation can be used to make Dragoon if you really have to, or Dark Magician to Dragon Knight, but typically you're not going to do that, but it is something you can do. 3 copies of Magician's Souls and 1 copy of Magician's Rod. Rod, you really only need 1 because you can recycle it off its graveyard effect. And if you really need it, you can search it off Illusion of Chaos, which you can search Illusion of Chaos off Preparation of Rites. Souls, draw power for the deck, get Dark Magician out of the deck. It's fairly strong, pretty basic. Don't really have to go over too much there. Moving on to our extenders, I guess you could say. 2 Illusion of Chaos, 1 Apprentice Illusion Magician, and 1 Tamias. Tamias, go for your fusion plays involving Dragon Knight and Dragoon. And then Apprentice, so you don't lose the access code, and it could help you link climb if you're playing the Selene and access code engine. I don't own that, so I'm not currently on that. And then Illusion of Chaos can search any of the monsters that list Dark Magician in its text. Unfortunately, it cannot search Alistair. If it did, it'd be kind of weird, but it would also be really great if it did. Moving on to the hand traps, we got 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 2 Contact C, and we are playing 3 Infinite Impermanence. Ash is generic, really hits Branded Fusion really well, and Red Eyes Fusion, but no one's really playing Red Eyes Fusion anymore. It could hit Fusion Destiny if you're playing a lot of rogue decks that are still playing DPE, but nobody's really playing DPE anymore, but it's really just for Branded Fusion. Sorry. 3 Infinite Impermanence, it's just generic and strong. Contact C hits a lot of decks in the meta, Branded, Dragon Link, Striker. It can hit heroes, which is somewhat relevant, but not really. Sword Soul is a little iffy, but it covers a lot of decks in the meta, and if you see it and it's branded, you kind of just win at that point. So it couples really well with Ash and Imperm in that way. You could play Effect Veiler if you wanted to. I just don't really like Effect Veiler right now, and Ghost Ogre and Nibiru typically don't do enough right now. So we're in a weird spot with hand traps where we don't have like any really strong generic ones that can shut down a deck. But we're playing 3 Red Eyes Fusion, 1 Magical Eyes Fusion, pretty generic for the Red Eyes Fusion combo. Magical Eyes Fusion, get you into your double Dragoon or a single Dragoon if you open it with Souls. It's fairly strong. If you're not playing Ref, I guess you don't have to play Magical Eyes Fusion, but I would. Just because it combos really well with Magician Souls and Tamias to make a double Dragoon turn 1. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. Ref is really... Personally, I wouldn't cut Ref. I'm still tinkering with that, but right now, I'm still playing it. You don't have to, though. I understand if you don't want to. Without Anaconda. I fully understand it. Now, moving on into our Invoked Spells and Traps, we are playing 3 Magical Meltdown, a single copy of Terraforming, and our 1 Invocation. Terraforming, search out Magical Meltdown. You don't have to play Terraforming. You could, since we're only playing 1 field spell, you could get, play another hand trap, or whatever else you may want, another copy of Rod, or there is some other flex spots in here, like with the Red Eyes Fusion stuff, if you don't want to play it, and some other cards you could cut if you wanted to play Magician's Salvation, like, no, really just the ref stuff, or Contact C if you don't want to play it. Personally, I like it to add consistency, and Invocation, go for your Invoked Fusion, just pretty generic, not really a whole lot to explain. If you don't know the Invoked engine, it's basically just a really strong fusion engine, and I wish Dark Magician had an archetypal version of Invocation that worked well with Rod. Unfortunately, we do not. Now we're moving into our Dark Magician Spells and Traps. 1 copy of Dark Magical Circle, and of course, triple copies of Soul Servant, and 1 copy of Eternal Soul, Soul Servant, generic, go for your Tamias combo, get you some draw power. You can't really get the draw 2 anymore. You can, but you have to. It's very specific hands where you can do it. Eternal Soul and Circle is pretty generic at you. Your one targeting Banish, the Dark Magician really wants to do. And you really only need one of each because Rod can search it and Illusion of Chaos can search it. And Soul Servant can stack it to draw it. So you really only need one of each. You can play two if you want, but personally, 1 and 1 is the right ratio for me. And now we're moving on to 2 copies of Preparation of Rites. Search our Illusion of Chaos. You can search us any of our Dark Magician monsters. 1 copy of Upstart Goblin because it stacks really well with Dark Magical Circle and Soul Servant. And our 1 copy of Called by the Grave. If you see that with Ref and a couple hand traps, you basically kind of win the game. Because they can't Ash Ref if you open it. And then again, if you open it with Contact C, you kind of blow out Branded. And then you also win against a lot of decks. Sword Soul's a little iffy. They can play through it. But Called by the Grave, really strong card. Should probably be banned, but it isn't. Moving on to our extra and side deck, which is pretty basic if you played Invoke DM before. If you haven't, then I guess it's not kind of generic. 2 copies of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. 1 Dark Magician to Dragon Knight. That's our only Dark Magician fusions. You can play the Dark Magicians or whatever if you want to and play Secrets, but personally, I'm not a big fan of that. We're playing 2 Invoke Mekaba or Mekaba. Personally, I think it's Mekaba, but pronounce it however you want to. 1 of Goatees because it can get really big. Purgatrio to help go for game. You don't have to play that if you don't want to. I like it because it can help you go for game sometimes and poke for a little extra damage. 1 Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, and 1 Predaplant Dracos Depelia, because we are playing Super Poly in the side deck. You could honestly main it if you wanted to, but I'm siding it currently. Moving on to our Link monsters, there's 1 Artemis, 1 Almirage, 1 Shakir Gardno, 1 Imduck, 1 Relinquished Anima, and 1 Dark the Dark Charmer. Anima is really good to punish your opponent if they play their zones wrong. Imduck is very strong to go for your Magic Fusion combo, and it can make your Eternal Soul live. Almirage and Shakir Gardner are good for Purgatrio and Mekaba, and then Artemis is just generic and fairly strong. Use it to recycle your Rod, use it with Alistair to make your Mekaba. It's a very versatile extra deck, I'd say. You do have a little bit of flex spots, but not a ton. Like I said, if you want to play Selena and Access Code, you could cut Purgatrio and probably Dark Magician to Dragon Knight. But for now, I don't own those cards, so I am not currently playing them. Anyway, moving on to the side deck, which is honestly just really... It depends a lot on what you're playing at locals and what you expect to see at a regional. But for right now, I am on triple copies of Super Poly in the side. I need to get a 3rd Secret Rare. I'm playing 2 Secrets, 1 Common. Really, really kind of bougie. 3 copies of Secret Village. It's really strong for when you're going first. Triple copies of Dark Ruler No More. Hopefully I'm able to get Secrets soon. The commons are just, yeah. 1 Harpy's Feather Duster and 2 Cosmic Cyclone because back row removal helps you against Mystic Mind. Could help you against Elgless, but really they're just going to chain the stuff anyway. And I would play Cosmic over Twin Twisters just because it banishes and their spells and traps won't get any effects in the grave because of that. Then 3 copies of Dimensional Barrier. Fairly strong trap card. Wins you against Sword Soul going first. It's really strong against Branded. Unfortunately, it doesn't work against Link decks like Dragon Link or Sky Striker, but it's still strong against the most 2 prevalent decks in the game. Wins you against heroes if you call Fusion, so they can't really make DPE. Well, they can still make Plasma, but you should be able to swing over Plasma relatively easily. If you open like Rod and Alistair, well, no, that wouldn't work because Alistair can only boost the fusion. But either way, you should still be able to beat over Plasma with other ways. But anyway, that is the deck profile for now. If you have any questions, put it in the comment section down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. This video went by kind of fast, and I kind of wanted it to go fast. The last several videos have been over 20 minutes. So I feel like a shorter one just kind of goes off a little bit better for us right now. And, you know, we've been playing Dark Magician so weird without Anaconda. I feel like we have to play a secondary engine. Whether that be Invoked or Branded. I'm not big on Branded Dark Magician. Only because the fact that we don't get as much value off Branded Fusion as a regular Branded deck would. But Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Play your refs at 3, play your Dragoon, and hopefully you have some success at your locals with this, and peace.